Next sign, Virgo. What's about the Virgo? What do they represent? How is the zodiac sign? The house number is number 6, the 6th house of Parate Karma, or your daily routine. Enemies, oppositions, illness. It's also the house of small animals and also the sign that interacts with it. The sign of Virgo is represented by a woman figure having in one hand grains and wheat to provide to feed, and then the other side, on her other hand, medicine, pharmaceutical means of treating illness and afflictions. And she's standing on the side of a boat about to dock, so that way she can go out and attend to those who are afflicted, disease-stricken, and combat the impurities. That being said, Virgo is the only sign that has its owner exalted in it. The only one. And it's Mercury. Virgo is the more mature version with Virgo. Mercury in Gemini is the more whimsical, playful, obnoxious young lad that kind of want to put duct tape over his mouth. But nonetheless, with Virgo is a very point-blank critiquing sign. It likes to nitpick. Not in a way to be harsh, but in a way to perfect. It's not really the idea of being creative because that's the sign behind it. And what's ever in front of the sign before it, essentially you have Virgo, then it's Leo. That's the sign behind it, so what that sign lacks is what's behind it. It lacks pretty much a sense of self-creation, if that makes sense. Like, it does not really... It's pretty difficult to explain it because a lot of people say, well, I'm a Virgo and I'm creative. Well, that's just one planet. Anything 12th from itself is the loss of something. And the 12th sign from Virgo is Leo, so it's a loss of all the things Leo represents. That's just who it is. Now, when it comes to the sign of Virgo, it is a very, 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 very medical and nutrition heavy sign, because it's the sign that combats afflictions, diseases, ailments, anything that is not healthy. So medical professions can be seen from Virgo. Lawyers and anyone that actually goes and defends or combats something, that's Virgo. You're probably thinking, but Virgo, why would you send a woman in white who is pure without any ailments out to fight? Well, they say the most sacred and most purest thing is a virgin. Completely pure and not tainted. When something's not tainted, it can't be tainted unless once it gets afflicted, if that makes sense. Because the thing that's most cherished and seen as the most valuable is purity. And that's what Virgo is. It combats stuff that is impure, unjust. It's also, like what I said earlier about the sign about small animals and pets. You can usually see when there's a lot of Virgo placements and a lot of Virgo influence in there, they could actually be an animal rights advocate. But also Virgo also represents the poverty-stricken people in terms of like the homeless, mentally ill, those afflicted with hardship. That also is Virgo, because that is the everyday struggle and also everyday work life. 6th house, along with Virgo, also represents co-workers. And also represents how your enemies are towards you. So for an example, if with the 6th house placement, whatever sign's in there, that sign is going to say how those enemies are going to act towards you. If you have someone who, say, has in their 6th house, let's go with a Scorpio. Ooh. You got someone who is, in a way, going about the means of sabotaging you without you even knowing about it, and going in a way that's kind of dark. Because that's what Scorpio is. It also shows that your enemies may be very suggestive towards you. And they might even do occult means towards you, because that's also Scorpio. The stones that can be correlated with Virgo. First one is clear quartz. Like clear quartz, especially if one of it is flawless like this. If you can see perfectly through a stone, that is a Virgo stone. Because it's not tainted. You can see perfectly clear through it. Also, this one shares with Gemini, green aventurine. Because green usually is the color of regrowth, regeneration, grounded stability. And since this one is not really that dark, I can see through it just fine. This one is going to be a little bit hard to grip, but because it's so little. Moss agate, because with moss agate being a stone heavily influenced to the earth, well, what is one of the most purest things known? Mother Earth. Amethyst. Probably thinking, how the heck is amethyst related? Well, the thing is, what does amethyst do? Is an anti-BS stone. Like it's a protective stone, but it also helps you become more aware and knowing of what's around you and filtering out nastiness. Last one that I got, selenite. Selenite, well, yes, also related to the moon. If you've worked with selenite before, then you know what selenite does. Selenite takes the blech and tells it to piss it. That's what selenite is. Stone of nope, not dealing with nasty BS energy up in this, wherever. Another one that I'm actually wearing the big green balls around my neck. Funny, I know. Those are Amazonite. And Amazonite is a very sassy stone. And when you're going up against an opposition, which Virgo represents, Amazonite, you gotta be sassy sometimes, like, really? No, let's not do that. That's what Amazonite does. Also, you can say green jade too, for the growth aspect. And I think on the back of my necklace, I really hope I put them on this one. Another stone that you can also say is malachite. Probably thinking, malachite, isn't that a very harsh heart stone? Yes, it's harsh. And that's, again, what Virgo is. It's point blank. It combats. Malachite takes all that hardship on the heart center, it just off with it. That's what it does. It's not really meant there to be all like, oh, it's okay. It's more like, you know what, we're getting sick of this. Out it goes. That's what malachite does, and that's the same thing with Virgo. Because usually sometimes with medicine, you have to be a little bit feisty with the ailment to get out of here. Now parts of the body, okay. The Virgo is, again, kind of like within here, but is more in the stomach intestinal tract, like right in here. And also controls the liver to filter out toxins, because again, once Virgo, filters out ailments, diseases, complications. What does the liver do? Take the toxins and get rid of them. It also helps regulate, like, the bile and the. That stuff just makes me all grody, but still, you get the gist. Same thing with the intestinal tract, because once you're finished digestion, because that's also Virgo, it goes down, goes through the tract and gets all the nutrients extracted, and then it goes toodaloo. That whole process is Virgo, because you're intaking something, it goes down into the stomach, and all the nutrients and all the things that fulfill hunger get yoinked from it. What can't be used gets sucked and then tossed out. That's Virgo. It only has to nitpick on, okay, we have this nutrient, it'll go over here. We have this one, it'll go over here. That's useless. Here's your fast food. That's useless. Ooh, here's some biotin. Well, hold on to that and put it in that pile. Some more sugar. Crap pile. See? That's what Virgo does. It critiques and it nitpicks, and it's very structured, organized, and is a perfectionist. That is precisely why with Virgo, if you want some kind of task done to be at its best, Virgo is the one you go to. Depending on what planet it is in Virgo, can also show like what area in that person's life is where they use the most of their Virgo skills. For an example, I don't know if I mentioned about Venus in Virgo, because that's where Venus is debilitated and off. Because you're taking an entity that just loves everybody and loves to interact with people, and it's all peaceful and just wants to be in luxury and just be in just complete conveniency and just enjoying life. You're telling her, hey princess, you're gonna have to put on the work suit. So she's not laying down, relaxing, and not interacting with people and being just mingling. Now she's being grabbed by her hair and thrown out the window to go and deal with everybody who is sick, ill, and experiencing hardship, which she can't handle. Because when you have a planet that's all about harmony everywhere, in a place where there's a lot of conflict going on all at once, people are sick, people are dying, and she has to be all over the place, it pretty much ends up like this. Venus Virgo finds beauty in perfection. There's the problem. How can you find beauty in something that's perfect if there's no such thing as perfect? One finds creative self-expression by criticizing. One finds beauty in criticizing another, and nitpicking. You can't really be appreciating something if you're telling everything what's wrong with it. There's the clash. But at the same time, though, a Virgo Venus is the best lover. Why? How is that the best lover? Sometimes you have to have a person who loves you so much to tell you how stupid you are. But at the same time, too, they are down-to-earth, practical. They're realistic. If you have a realistic lover and a partner that's down-to-earth, and even though it's not like the fantasy, oh, Prince Charming's finally here, rather instead it's just like, okay, come on, let's go. Get on the horse, we gotta get going. This is not how it's supposed to be. Get on the horse, woman. Babe, that's a Virgo Venus. Rather than it be like a Pisces Venus where it's exalted, where it's all dreamy and whatnot, this one's like, yo, Rapunzel, it's been about 10 minutes. I've been sitting on this horse and you're still not on it. Why? Why aren't you getting on? You're just not fantasiful. See? It conflicts, but it provides. Because Virgo is a sign of giving servitude. And then other than that, I believe that's really what I got with Virgo. Again, Virgo is owned by Mercury, and it's the only planet that gets exalted in its own sign. And the next sign is the 7th, Libra, which is my Western sun. And if you thought that I was kind of a little bit not nice with Virgo, I'm not even nice about Libra, and I'm one of them. So, that's Virgo for you, and next up will be Libra.